We have a dual purpose here on this earth. We have a spiritual purpose. That is called our soul job. That is the way your soul moves in your body. Kind of like if I were a driving instructor and a driving teacher and I wanted to view and observe how do you drive your car. As your driving coach, I'm going to look at how do you get in? Do you open the door? Do you climb through the window? Do you pop through the sunroof? Do you roll the windows? Lower the windows? Do you put the air on? Do you rev the engine? Do you back out first? Do you check your rear view mirrors? What do you do? But guess what? Your car has no choice in the matter at all. Just you. You are the one that has a choice in the matter. The car isn't going to make its own choice. Your body is going to instruct the car how to go. When I'm talking about your spiritual purpose, I'm talking about the exact same thing. Your soul will drive your body like if it were a vehicle. You have no choice in that manner. You are who you are, and your soul purpose and your soul job is who you are. You can fight it if you like. And this is where your turmoil comes from. This is where your discrepancy comes from, is not sharing in that experience with your own spiritual self. Your human purpose is called your state of being. That's what I was telling you before. That is the condition of your humanity. You came here spiritual, and then one day you became human because of some kind of something that happened to you in your life, and you developed an opinion and a perception. And then everything from that moment will indicate how you respond as the vehicle in driving that car. So when we're looking for oneness between the body and the soul, we do want to look at these two pieces. We want to look at the part of our soul that is eternal and that is here on a mission from God, because otherwise, why would we incarnate? Isn't that what you all ask? Why the hell am I here anyway? Isn't that the major human question? Why am I here? What am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do next? What's my purpose? These two things are your purpose. One of them is spiritual, one of them is in a physical human expression, but you're doing it already. You are already this. Okay? So, like I said before, I was coming into this awareness, although I was confused, and I thought, how the heck is this really possible? I don't really know. And so I realized in Genesis 26 it says that we are created in the image of God. And I thought, all right, I'm logical. Everything has to make sense to me in my brain. So I question everything. Everything to me has to be logical. So I thought, well, if we're created in the image of God, then I guess I need to understand God to understand me. Well, the church says that's a big freaking mystery and that you're never going to understand God. But you can look at what He is to figure out who you are. So let's say you're not Christian. Let's say you're not Catholic. Let's say you don't believe what I believe. My faith base is Catholicism and Christianity. Maybe your faith base is Jehovah's Witness. Maybe your faith base is, I don't know, Protestant or Methodist or Lutheran or evangelical. I don't know what your faith base is. So you can look at it, because all languages, all religions say the same thing. We're one thing. So if you want, you can look at it as the id, the ego, and the superego. If you don't want to lean toward God and you want to lean toward just who are we from a physical, scientific, human perspective, you can look at it based on psychology. You can look at it based on God, Buddha, Christ, whatever you want. This is just the way that I found an understanding with the different things that were happening to me in my life. So Genesis 26 says that we are created in that image, which gives us three pieces of ourself: a human self, a spirit self, and a healing self. So we have a God self, that's that voice in our brain. We also have a human self, well, we know all about that, that's easy to identify. And we have a healer self. So when I read this, it kind of explained to me what that experience is that happened to me, where my brain got kind of split in three. There was an observer person who I deemed to be the Holy Spirit person, the nice one that I deemed to be the God one, and then the Jesus one that was a little pissed off at the moment of this occurrence. So I did recognize that those three parts of myself were an influence for me. So if you think about it, Jesus and God, according to our faith, Christian faith, the Trinity is three things in one expression. So we have a human self, we have a spirit self, so that would be God and Jesus. Think of the stories from the Bible. Didn't Jesus go to some garden to talk to God about being crucified, and he didn't really want to be crucified? He was like, yeah, I'm going to go to this Garden of Gethsemane here and tell you, like, I don't want to get crucified. And God was like, I'm so sorry, but Jesus, you got to go get crucified. And Jesus was like, okay, I guess I'll do it. That makes light of the story, but you follow me. What we see here is there is a discussion. There is a human being that goes to a garden to talk to another part of himself. So what? This human guy can go to a garden and like talk to his higher self, his God self, and wait a minute, the God self answers? And wait a minute, they disagree? Is that possible? The God self and the Jesus self disagree, and then we see that there's a surrender, like one says, all right, yeah, I'll do it. But that confused me, because there is no hierarchy according to the Bible. God and Jesus are the same. They're perfectly both divinely God. Perfectly God is Jesus, and perfectly God is God. So why is one obeying the other? And then I realized, okay, wait a minute. If Jesus listens to God, then God must have to listen to Jesus. Where does that happen in the Bible? So there's this wedding at Cana, where Jesus goes to this wedding with his mom, Mary. He's just some guy, Jesus. And they want to have wine at a wedding, go figure. And all they got is water. So Mary comes to Jesus and says, hey, why don't you, we're at this wedding. What do you think? We could have a drink, no? So Jesus goes off, talks to the God part of him, and he's like, we're at a wedding. Wine? And oh my goodness, beautiful wine spills out of these jugs of water. And now we see God listen to Jesus. Oh, so now we don't have a surrender. We don't have an obligation. We don't have to do anything. We're just going to be friends. I'll help you. You help me. I'll give you the earth request. You give me the soul truth. I think that's great. Okay, I could buy into that in my journey. I could understand that. Now we have the Holy Spirit self. Who's that? Who's that? And us. Well, that's when God and Jesus agree, no? Because now there's this dead guy named Lazarus, and Jesus is going to bring him back to life. So he asked God, and God's like, yeah, totally cool with that. Every time Jesus heals anybody in the Bible, he invokes God the Father, and now they have an agreement. Now they're friends. That's what we want to be with ourselves, because that's where we heal. And that's where that force of the Holy Spirit comes in, applicable to your human life. What's happened to you that's been really shitty? And how hard did you struggle going through it? And then you figured it out. Somehow you got peaceful. Somehow you came into balance with it. So what happened? Oh my gosh, the lady down the street is going through the same thing. I spent 2 hours outside talking to her about how normal it is and how okay it is for me to be mad at every pregnant woman after I lost my pregnancy. I didn't like pregnant women. I didn't like them at all. I thought, why do they get to be moms and I don't get to be moms? We all have had something really bad happen, something that sits inside of our heart that sometime, at some point during our journey, we come into balance and we're okay. And then the Holy Spirit self is available, because then that lady said, my sister's pregnant and I hate her. I'm like, that is so normal. Don't worry, because you'll see that that'll heal in you, and here's how it'll heal in you. And this is what I remember from my time. And then my sister, this happened to her, so this is what she did, and let me help you. And wow, you took a really crappy human experience and you found some soul truth, peace, and balance with it, and you shared it. So you are a healer. So you are all three of those things. But then there was confusion more for me, because there was this woman, and she was sick, I guess, and Jesus was walking past her, And he was, I don't know where he was going. I should probably figure that out a little bit better if I'm going to be telling stories about him. But she wanted to be healed. And so she leaned over as he was walking past, and she touched his robe. And he felt energy come out of him. And he turned around and he said, "Who touched me?" Nobody responded, and one of the soldiers said, "She did." And he asked her, "Why did you touch me?" And she said, "My Lord, I knew that if I could just come within a touch of you, that I would be healed." Her faith was so big. And so he turned around and he said to her, "Then it is not me who healed you. By your own faith, you have been healed." When you go to see a doctor, when you go to see a spiritual Reiki master or a practitioner, you are the healer. By your faith, you will be healed. By your friendship with your own soul. By your openness of your human body, ideas, emotions. Somebody can go see a Reiki master and say, "Oh my God, she was awesome. I feel so much better." Another lady can go see the same exact Reiki master, and she says, "That lady don't know what the hell she's doing because I didn't feel anything." No, because your humanity will block you. It's who you trust. It's who you love. It's who you trust. It's what you believe. That is what heals you. And that's looking at both parts of yourself. My stomach hurts. Why? I don't know. I swallowed my truth all day yesterday. That could be a reason. I have a headache today. Why? I don't know. I wouldn't say anything that came into my brain. I just bit my tongue the whole damn day. And you wonder why you got a headache? We're looking at two parts here. The body responding to what the soul is doing. Your car is going to do what you tell it. If you don't put gas in it, if you don't get the oil changed, if you don't wash it, if you don't clean it out, it ain't going to work for you very well. And that's connected to who is the driver of the body. Who is the driver of your car? That determines how good your car does. You're the driver. You're the one that takes it to the shop. You're the one that washes it. You're the one that takes real good care of it. Wouldn't you do the same for your body? We don't. We don't. So that's important.